Welcome to Ducks on the Pod, a baseball podcast with your hosts, Matt Welker and Jake Mosley. Welcome back, everybody, to Ducks on the Pod. It's been quite a bit, Jake. I blame you going to Europe for 1 week.
Yes, just not the reason.
No, I know. But no, we are happy to be back. We're going to try to do it a little bit more frequently this time. But Jake's been killing it with the barrels. So actually, I was holding out and telling you on this because so subbed for a softball team tonight. We got some beers after the game. But we were sitting there talking about this guy that subbed didn't know that we had the podcast and whatnot, and Kevin, who's Kevin, he was like, "Oh yeah, they've got this thing called Ducks in the Pod. They do if you've ever seen the like barrel thing." He goes, "Dude," he's like, "I love the barrel thing. I follow it. I love it."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Dude, that's awesome!
Wow, love that." What's this guy's name? Do you know?
I don't know if he actually follows it.
Yeah, but he's seen it.
Oh yeah, he's seen it. We'll have to give him a shout out. We'll have to give him a shout out in the next barrel post.
Unreal.
Yes. So it's been nice. It's been sick. Let's talk some ball, shall we?
Yeah. Before we get into the agenda, I just got to tell you, I'm on a base running kick.
On a base running kick.
Yeah, I just love base running right now.
Is this gonna be PCA related?
No.
All right, continue.
No, I'll keep it pretty general, but whenever I dive into something, you only find, you go in with a hypothesis, right? And half the time the hypothesis is true, half the time it doesn't. But usually somewhere along the way, I find a little nugget where I get a little bit fixated on it. And right now that's base running, right? So, you're just talking social media, talked about the whole Luis Arraez lineup change, how base running is a part of that, right? With being more aggressive on the base paths and trying to get into scoring position when Luis Arraez is at the plate, whatever. During that, a lot of people were coming back saying the chances of Merrill stealing the base are slim. To which my point is, I didn't know this. If you had a guess, what is the league-wide stolen base percentage, just historically?
Like success rate?
Correct.
League-wide, I think Ellie's at like an 80% clip. No, more than that. Probably more like 80. So I'm going to guess the league-wide is worse. I'm going to guess 72.7%.
That's pretty good. I would have thought somewhere like 65 to 70. So I definitely thought a little bit lower. 75 to 80%, depending on the year.
Oh, damn.
Which is crazy. And I understand, obviously those are hand-picked situations where you think you have a good chance of stealing. But
unless you're the Ellie's or the PCAs of the world.
Right, you can go whenever.
Just go
for
whenever.
the most part. But people just don't steal so much anymore. Even with
hysterical, because last year it was crazy.
Well,
yeah, this year it's definitely tamed out.
Well, I think stealing. I haven't looked, but I think stealing is up just because of the new rules. Mm-hmm. But people don't run they
based on the last 5 years,
used to. It's not a there's certain guys who run a ton, and then there's certain guys who don't. Right? Like Kyle Schwarber this year has 8 stolen bases. Do you know that?
Ooh.
8. He would be. I knew the number. I forget the number, but he would be in the top 3 in stolen bases on 2/3 of the teams in baseball.
Yeah, some teams just don't run at all.
Yeah, and it's got me fixated on I feel like we're starting to switch back to prioritizing contact a little bit more, getting rid of the Joey Gallos of the world, which I like because it's more action. Even if it's not huge heroic action all the time.
It's better baseball to watch.
But there's still teams that are sitting around and waiting for a home run. So when I was looking at the whole Padres stuff, kind of prepping that video, I'm like, Jackson Merrill, there's no reason that he's not like an 80% base stealer, regardless of if he's like actually a good base stealer or not. Like he's fast enough to do it.
Yeah.
He's done it in the past. He has one stolen base this year.
One?
And they're
Wasn't he hurt
26.
for a while, though?
Yeah, I mean, on and off a little bit, but like he had 16 bags last year. He has one. Kyle Schwarber has 8.
That's
You know,
stupid.
like
The
I
fact
don't
that
care
Kyle
how
Schwarber has
long
8 is wild.
he's been hurt. Like
Yeah.
he's played
I'm looking
plenty to have
Okay,
more than
Jackson
one
Merrill.
steal.
Correct. No, that's kind of crazy.
So I'm kind of fixated on base running and like particularly aggression because also just probability wise, prepping that video. Like
Mhm.
Luis Rise is a career 320 hitter. He hardly ever walks, right? So just in a round number, he's 32% chance of getting hit whenever he's up. Xander Bogaerts is a career 290 hitter or whatever, 29% chance. Let's just like league average batting average is what 25 or 250, right? Somewhere around there. So if you take two average hitters, 250, 250 who don't walk, like that's a 25% chance, and then 25 of 25% is what?
25 of 25
Yeah,
is 6.12.
It's 6%. So if you have 2 average hitters in a row in your lineup, to get back-to-back hits of any kind is only 6%.
Yeah. But
So if you have 2 outs and a runner on first with any sort of speed, who's got even a 60% edge stealing the bag, right?
yeah.
Like
I get your
stealing
point.
is always the right choice.
One
Regardless
single
of if
could
you
score
make it.
somebody from second. One single is not going to score somebody from first.
Correct. Like Bartolo Colon, it's pretty much like, hey, would you rather Luis Arraez hit the plate and get one hit plus the chance of getting thrown out? And if you get thrown out, guess what? He gets to lead off the next inning. Or would you rather have
Bartolo Colon? All right, here we go. I was like, you can't just say that name and then not talk about him.
Like if I told you what's more likely, Jackson Merrill steals a base and Luis Arraez gets a hit, or Bartolo Colon gets a hit in any given plate appearance, it's very clearly the steal.
Colon.
No, it's not. You're kidding.
It's a joke.
I know.
It's a joke.
It's very clearly the steal, right? However, if I told you, like, what are the odds that Luis Arraez and Xander Bogaerts get a hit back-to-back, or John Lester gets a hit, right? You would think.
Why do you keep throwing out pitchers?
well, because they have low batting averages.
Oh, well.
Just follow me here. Like, the odds of Luis Arraez getting a hit.
So, yeah, straight up the
Xander
odds are
Bogaerts
6%. I get that.
Right behind him. That is a lower probability than John Lester going to the plate and getting a hit. So, like, everyone's like, oh, Luis Arraez is a good hitter. Xander Bogaerts is a good hitter. Like, to get back-to-back hits, that's fine. Like, that doesn't seem that low. It's like you don't realize how low that possibility actually is. So, with 2 outs, knowing that Luis Arraez, obviously he peppers in some doubles, even has a couple home runs this year, but you're not building a strategy around that, right?
Correct. But singles aren't the only way to move a guy. I'm not saying you're wrong by any means. Your math 100% checks out.
No,
I'm not saying that they're equal, even though mathematically, yes, they are.
I'm saying,
but like, let's say Arraez hits right after Merrill. He gets a hit. Merrill gets over to third. Obviously, a sac fly.
No, 2 outs. I'm only talking about a 2-out situation.
Oh, well.
No, well, that's the situation that is at question.
All right.
So,
I was
like,
also
with 2
going to
outs,
say that pitchers would bunt, but
no, like there's no productive out anymore. We're taking that off the table. And then also, and like the Luis Arraez standpoint is he doesn't walk. He just doesn't walk. Yeah. So like there's no added benefit of like what are the chances that he walks and Merrill moves to second that way. Like also you're essentially taking that out of discussion as well. I just don't think people understand like how the odds of getting back-to-back hits is so low that you might as well just like bank on one of the worst hitters in baseball history like one of the worst hitting pitchers in baseball history to get a hit in any given at bat. Like if you think about it that way, it's like obviously let's get more aggressive on the base paths. I just thought it was interesting that like that's kind of the math behind it, and like similar situations that aren't similar at all,
Yes.
obviously, but from a similar probability. I thought it was fascinating. So I'm very confused why, with 2 outs, people don't attempt to steal more, especially with a contact hitter at the plate who can start the following inning.
Yeah, and obviously,
or at least take some pitches, right?
fresh
Like
new
maybe
count,
you get
too.
in a situation where like you're up in the count and all of a sudden the batting average goes from 320 as a career to 500, right? Or like one of the clips I showed in the video, the pitch was right down the middle. So like Luis Rise isn't hitting 320 on that pitch though. So like it's probably a good idea for him
Yeah.
to swing at that. But
Your average is never like 100% decided in any
Mhm.
given scenario. It depends on where the pitch is, what the pitch type is, who's
Mhm.
the pitcher, what's the
Right.
game scenario. Yeah. So
Right.
that's why I agree with you mathematically. I don't
Yes.
quite agree logistically.
No, I mean, obviously you aren't going to steal in that situation every single time because then it's predictable. But like, think of how many pitch outs there are. You rarely see a pitch out anymore. Rarely see a pitch out. And bases are closer. And pickoff moves are limited.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's more of a thing than the bases being that much closer.
I just don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised that steal numbers aren't even higher than what they are, is what I should say. And I think, like,
I think it's
strategically,
more-
they should be higher.
I think it's more just because I feel like players in today's game weren't stealing as much because that's not been the common brand of baseball.
Oh,
So
same.
they're just not.
Yeah.
So like if assuming the rules stay, I think in 5-6 years it's gonna the fast players.
But I think that's
will
why
come
you're
back.
seeing prospects.
If you can
like,
hit 270 or 260, you're way more valuable to an MLB player. Like
yeah, I think you're seeing
Billy
a lot
Hamilton,
more versatile.
He'd be way more useful now. I feel
Yeah,
like
for
because
sure.
it's way easier for him to even get a
Agreed.
stolen base.
I just think they're starting to value more versatile, like athletic guys as opposed to let's just sit around and try to hit bombs.
Yeah, which I love because it just makes
Same.
with both the shorter games and with that, it's way more exciting.
Yeah.
And hopefully it grows the game. I will
Like-
always love the game, but
We're not going to talk about the Brewers today, but like the Brewers run like crazy.
I didn't see it.
What's that? No,
I
we're
thought you were
not
saying
going.
they did something today.
No. We're not going to talk about them
Gotcha.
today. But yeah, they
gotcha.
run like crazy. Like they don't have necessarily like stereotypical fast guys. They just put pressure on teams. And it's really fun to
I thought you
watch,
were
and
about to say something else.
it's wins.
I thought you were about to say they don't necessarily have that good of players, and I was like, been saying that for years, Jake.
No, I disagree.
All right,
with that.
so to get off of our base running thing,
Yeah.
we decided that now would be a fantastic time since most teams are right around the 80 game mark to check back in on our early season, which actually was our very first 2 posts on Instagram. But our early season preseason over under predictions.
Yeah, see how
We're
smart
going
we
to
are.
go through the AL. Yes, we're going to go through the American League today. We're going to go East, Central, West. But we're going to go down each team and just briefly talk about each team as well. Probably only spend a couple minutes on each team because then that would put us kind of right at 45 to an hour. But let's get right into it. Any opening thoughts before we get into this? Actually, first off, how do you, as a general American League,
Mhm.
I don't know how well you studied how we answered it, but how do you think you are doing right now?
I don't think good. I don't think good.
I'm actually doing a very quick Excel formula because I'm a loser. Never mind. Don't need to do that live. All right, so starting with the East. So just to make this as easy as possible to relay on Instagram post, if that's what you have pulled up. I don't know what you have pulled up. But we're just going to go top to bottom on Vegas predicted over-unders.
Okay.
So to start us all off out of the East, the Bronx Bombers predicted at 88.5. I said under. You said over. I believe my unders solely came from the fact that we thought this division was going to be insanely competitive.
Mhm.
And I also didn't think that the Yankees were going to win the division. So that was my under. I'm actually shocked now looking at this that you picked over because I feel like you've always said that you don't really like the Yankees. And it's not just from a place of us growing up with the 90s Yankees.
No, I don't mind the Yankees. Like Aaron, the thing is, Aaron Judge is a trump card.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter what you have around them. Like, do I think they're a complete team? Absolutely not even close to it. But
well, I'm trying to think. We picked these before Cole got hurt, right?
Yeah,
he got hurt mid-season.
We picked him before he got
Luis
hurt.
Hill
Yes.
was definitely hurt because I believe he got hurt in spring training. To be honest, I don't know that 100%. But so Yankees, like I said, we're at 88.5. They're currently pacing for 91.5. So as we stand right now, you are winning that one.
Are you going to keep a score here?
That was the Excel sheet I was going to try to do, but I couldn't think of how to do it and talk at the same time.
I can do it for you. It's a green for me, a red for you, because you are dumb.
Actually, I know how to do it really quick. But do you have anything else to add about the Yankees? It was really fun watching Chase Burns kind of mow them down the other night.
Trent Grisham's really good at baseball.
Yeah, dude, where does that come from?
I know.
I feel like he's
not on my
always been
bingo
good.
card.
It's just no. Yeah, him being, he's like I feel like he's their Austin Wells from last year, at least this year. Like,
I'll be honest. I thought Gleyber Torres being gone would be a bigger deal than it has been, and it's no knock on Gleyber. It's just I think Aaron Judge being like out of the world good has kind of masked it. Trent Grisham's masked it. Bellinger's been all right. Like they're getting spurts from guys to pick up the slack for it.
Well, and Judge, I believe over the last couple of weeks has not even been hitting that well. I think he's kind of starting to turn it back on, but if I remember correctly, he didn't hit that well in the Red Series, but had a huge pop out with bases loaded, by the way. We were very nervous about that one.
Yeah. You can't walk the guy in front of
Reds fan.
I know. You can't walk the guy in front of Aaron Judge, though.
You can't be walking Ben Rice there.
You guys lived. It was Ben Rice.
Yeah, so I'm going to move on to the next team. Okay. And this is probably the biggest shocker of this entire league. Has to be the biggest. It's the biggest difference, especially in the negative direction. But the Baltimore Orioles were projected at 86.5. Me and you both said over, and they're pacing for 71.4. I did see earlier that they're only 7 games out of the wild card right now.
They're still going to make the playoffs somehow. By the way,
if they deal some of these newer guys like Mayo and Kjerstad, and like guys that they don't necessarily need, if they deal for them for any sort of pitching, they could. Not, I won't say very easily, but they could definitely come back. However, this division's really fucking good, so I don't know how many games they have left in the division. I would assume pretty much everybody has played their division opponents twice, probably home and away so far. So they probably have 25-ish games against their division left. So that could be the main reason I think that they could stay out. But, like, they can beat any team in the Central. Tigers are the Tigers. And honestly, they can beat any team in the West. So, like, they could kind of go nuts if they can just get hot.
Yeah, the thing is, like,
I don't see them hitting their over, obviously, but
no, they're not.
They'd have to make up pacing 15 games, which is really like making up 30 games, I feel like.
Yeah. I didn't really look at all they have a bunch of injuries to pitchers. They have 5 starting pitchers on the injured list right now. Like, a couple of them are Tommy John-ish. Well, the thing is, like, they are when you think of who they'd replace. Like Kyle Bradish, like, I don't know when he's coming back. He had Tommy John on 6/19 of 24, so he's over a year now. If I prepped for any of these shows, that would have helped me immensely right here. But, like, if they get Kyle Bradish back and then make one trade, like, all of a sudden you have, like, 2 formidable pitchers. Dean Kramer's not been bad this year. The back end of the bullpen's still really good. Yes, they need their pitching stats to improve a ton, but really, I don't think it's that many like actual people, if you know what I mean. There's still a path, and I still believe in the offense, even though it's like I don't know what Gunnar Henderson's been doing this year. It ain't been what is expected. Same with Adley.
Yeah.
I just feel like those guys are too good to go in. I mean, maybe they go an entire year being down, but
Jake, they have a negative 73 run differential. That's
I
only
know, it's
7
ugly.
better than the White Sox.
I know it. Yeah, it's ugly. It's because they can't pitch. I mean, and they're cold hitting. Cold is in a whole half year.
355 runs scored. That's better than 2 teams in the AL. The Royals, who we knew would have offensive struggles.
Yeah.
And the White Sox, who are the White Sox. I mean, it's significantly above both of those teams, and they're only 1 behind the Twins, but that ain't good, brother.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a third team. It's the Astros, but the Astros are a weird team this year. All right, so this is another one that I think is large in this league as well. It's the Boston Red Sox. They were also at 86.5. I had them in over. You had them in under. They're currently pacing for 79.1, so you're currently winning that one. 7 games below pace. I mean, I think they're a talented enough team. Get Bregman back, and you're fine. I think trading Devers is, I'll say mostly weird, but probably also bad, especially with the shit return they got, at least seemingly in today's game of baseball.
Their hand was kind of forced, wasn't it?
But I don't know. It almost sounds. It seems like there's information we don't know about still. Because he was just the moment he gets the San Fran, he's like, I'll play anywhere.
Yeah.
He wanted them to commit to him at first so that he wasn't just jumping around and playing different positions. Then they started having Christian Campbell try out at first. And I think that's what really set him off. So he's like, I don't want to be jumping around in different positions. I want to have one, own it, and stick with it.
Yeah, it's kind of falling apart. I think they're going to be sellers. A lot of rumors of Jarren Duran moving.
There's some attachment to the Reds there.
Yeah, you guys could use him.
Not really, though, to be honest. I mean, he's great. I would love to have him. I don't know what his contract situation looks like. But
yeah, you'd have to sign him.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, I hope they don't move him. I really like him as a Red Sox, and it seems like he really wants to stay there. He's just having a little bit of a down year, but I still think he's very good.
He's
I would love to have him.
The Red Sox are weird to me because they're kind of in the middle of, they could be buyers, they could be sellers, and I don't know what side I'd be on in terms of my own strategy because they have all the young guys, but the young guys have been struggling. It's like, could you get rid of one of them and all of a sudden turn this thing around and try to squeak into the playoffs and go from there? Or do you say, hey, we got 3 guys, we're going to keep them at all costs, get rid of Jarren Duran and some other of the older guys potentially, and then just be stocked for years to come? I'd probably be on that side of it. Just that's how I view baseball. I'd rather go for 10 really good years than 1 all or nothing year, but that's just how I approach my front office decisions if I was ever in that spot. So we'll see what they do.
I feel like some small markets would disagree with that just because it's very rare to have 10 solid years.
Yeah, but Boston's not a small market.
Boston is not a small market, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on then. So this one, I think, is this? Yeah, I think this. I think the Rays.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what any of these teams' records are.
Oh no.
They're killing it.
So the Rays were at 80.5, so just under 500 ball. We both said under, mostly just as this division is top heavy, or not top heavy, but very good. Yeah. And they just aren't that good, but will be solid enough. But they are soaring past it right now. They're 9 games above pace. at 89.5. We both said under, so we both look like dum-dums. But like, I feel like we probably both were like, they could win this division or they could just finish last. Like, it's just the Rays are going to raise.
Yeah.
And the fuck are you going? But no, the Rays are just going to be like just pesky as they always are. Have some unknown guy come up and just be unreal. Which I feel like they're like their best players are who is actually performing, and they haven't had this just random surge of somebody. But no, they're a fun team to watch, and I don't really watch them that often. But Jonathan Aranda, by the way,
he's so good.
There's your guy.
There's your random guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't get it. Like, sorry, Tampa fans, but I just can't get into the Rays as long as they're in that damn ballpark. I mean, not that it's any worse or better than the Trop, but everything, like just the energy
MLB
within
stadium.
it just seems dumb. It seems like they're just not exciting. Like, they could put you could put an all-star team out there of most exciting players, and I don't think I'd be into it. So I think that's why I'm always pessimistic about the Rays.
Yeah.
You look at them, like, they're pretty decent, especially like Chandler Simpson's back, who I don't know why they sent him down in the first place. I mean, guy can't.
He's not that good.
Well, no, but his value when he gets on is insane.
Yeah, like that high chop grounder. I forget who they were playing, but
just hit it to the left side of the
Orioles.
As weak as you can.
He hit it straight down. It probably got to 20 feet in the air off the ground. Mm-hmm. I think it was the third baseman fielded it since he's a lefty, and he just didn't even think about throwing it to first because he was already touching first.
Yeah, and that turns into a triple.
He had already ran through and came back and touched first by the time that guy touched that ball.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a joke.
He's so fast. Junior Caminero is like good. You already hit on Aranda is insane. Yandy's been doing it forever. Josh Lowe's. That's a Yandy. They just got enough good pieces.
His name. I don't know how you said it.
I'm still surprised that they've won as many games, but like to your point, we picked unders because somebody in the division had to end up losing games. It ends up being the Orioles and not the Rays.
I bet you if we go back to the episode that we did these, I bet you I was like under, but by like 2 games.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I would have thought they're around, between 78 and 85 wins, like somewhere in that range, no matter what. They're overachieving at, but you never know when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure for this whole division, I was just like under by like a couple games, over by like a couple games.
Yeah.
But this next team, I did feel very strongly about saying over here. The Blue Jays were predicted to come in last with 79.5 wins. And they are doing even better than the Rays. They have the exact same pace because they currently have the exact same record. But that means that they are 1 game above pace. This is the first pick I had correct in this division. But I'm looking pretty smart, Jake.
Just kidding. Just on the Jays. You remember why you like them so much?
Well, I do remember being like, Vladdy has to have a big year because I don't believe he had signed his contract yet. And I was like, I feel like Bo Bichette's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And that their team they're fun. I won't even call them like good. Honestly, I don't know their stats. I need to look that up probably. I'll probably do that tomorrow morning while I'm bored at work. But like, just try to figure out how they're winning these games. Because, they are 9 games above 500 right now. Especially like we keep bringing up in this tough division. Like, that's very impressive. And that thing I posted to our story. So outside of last year, so this year, 2023 and 2022, I think they had the exact same record through 81 games. Both of those other years, and they made the playoffs. They did get 2 games swept in the playoffs, but I would love to see him back in, especially see my girl in the playoffs. But no, they're a fun team.
Can't believe you just dropped that on
Vladdy. Vladdy and Bo Bichette need to be in the playoffs. I need to see him again. Yeah.
They're going to come back down to earth. I still feel good with my pick.
Okay.
79.5. I just think the Orioles have to be better. Like, they got off to such a bad start. And I think the Jays
Wait, you still agree with your under?
I still agree with my under on Toronto, yeah. I know it's going to take a lot to get there, but yeah. Part of the reason I had the under is I thought this team would fall apart because I didn't think that they'd be this competitive come deadline season. However,
yeah,
I just think like the Orioles are going to play better. So like when you think about the division, there's probably less wins to go around for them. Their run differential is only 4 right now, and to be what's their record? 47-38, 9 games above with a run differential of 4.
Yeah.
I just think they're overachieving
I always get
a bit.
Careful
but,
looking at run differential.
Yeah, but I mean, we're halfway through the season. I feel better about it now. Like, sure, they're winning a bunch of close games. I just think,
but like early on, I would say to you, be like,
bit.
oh, yeah, I'd be like, oh, Reds have the third highest run differential in the league. You're like, yeah, well, you beat the Orioles by fucking 21.
Well, yeah, but one game means a lot more in
was.
April than it does now.
26 of those runs were off of a position player. All right. Do you have any overarching AL East thoughts that you want to close that division with? Oh, by the way, yeah, I said over, you said under. I don't think I said that before, but
I mean, it looks like a bloodbath. I'm coding these red if we're wrong and green if it's good. We went 3-10.
I'm 1-4. You're 2-3.
Yeah, not pretty from us.
We get a lot better on these next 10 teams.
All right, good. Because they don't spoil it, but you're already there.
I didn't.
But that's right. No, you're good.
Oh my God, I didn't say every team. I said we get a lot better.
Oh, no.
All right, so on to the AL Central. I was just trying to think of what somebody called it the other day in a comment, and I thought it was funny, but I can't think what it is. Anyway, so the preseason, the preseason, it was like Sucky Central. It wasn't that lame, but it was something funny like that. Anyway, AL Central. So preseason, Minnesota Twins were projected to win the division with 84.5 wins. I said over, you said under. They're currently pacing at 76.2. This is just a team filled with streaks. Like, I feel like they were on
they called it Shit Mountain game win or Comedy Central.
Shit yeah, that's what it was. But anyway, the Twins, I feel like they've been on both a 10-game win streak at one point this season and also an 8-game losing streak. Like, they're just insanely streaky. They're very reliant on the health of Buxton and Royce Lewis.
He's been terrible this year.
Yeah.
Royce Lewis, that is.
Yeah. But they're just a weird team. And then didn't Pablo Lopez get hurt? Didn't he need TJ?
You're asking the wrong guy. If you think I check on the Twins all that often, you're wrong.
I don't know.
I should. I know. We run a
You don't have
baseball page.
Trade rumors, tweets.
Strained shoulder. So no TJ, but he's on the 60 day. So
yeah, I just remember it being a very serious injury.
Yeah, it happened
as far as missing a lot of time.
Happened a month ago. So I should know that one. That's on me. Not bad, Twins.
That's all right.
I don't think about you there very often.
Oh, I just elbowed the shit out of my wall. But you look smarter than I do because they are 8 games below their projection, and you said under.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting anywhere close to hitting it over there unless like magically just everybody stays healthy once they're back, and they just have a very easy schedule in the back half. No clue what their schedule looks like, but I mean the rest of their division outside of the Tigers aren't very good, so maybe they could surge back and get on another hot streak like they have already this season.
Yeah, there's definitely some streaks there. The thing is, like, you look at this team and it feels like they haven't really like infused it with any new life over the last couple of years, and now like it just seems like a slow ticking death. Like they're
just
fine.
Funny though because they they've got all these. They've got some studs on their team. I almost said all these, like acting like they're half their roster is
Yeah, I mean,
good.
they're all in their prime
But
now.
they're always hurt.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like I have no clue what Correa's stats are, but I feel like he stinks now. Buxton, when healthy, is fantastic. Had a hell of a series against the Reds. I think he hit 4 home runs in that 3-game series and robbed a home run.
That was a crazy sequence.
Yeah, because Friedel almost robbed him exactly where he drank much.
No, first time.
All right, Jake. So this next team, we both have to give ourselves pats on the back. Go ahead. I need to see you do it. Come on, drink it. Drink it and give yourself a pat.
I did.
All right, this is the first time that we both have gotten it correctly, and
it was so
the biggest spread from their projection. See, I
know you were late.
Slightly baffled at this.
You were
just
late.
because this team did not hit like they did last year, and now all of a sudden they're all, like Spencer Torkelson's been amazing.
Yeah, Javi too, by the way.
Yeah, where did that come from?
And everybody else.
So this is the first time we. Go ahead.
I was going to say everybody else has like achieved to the level that they did last year when they went on that second half stretch and got hot and playoffs and all that. Everybody's playing
like
as good as they did last year,
or
significantly better. AKA Spencer Torkelson and Javi Baez, who Spencer Torkelson. Yeah, like there's a real chance neither of them were on the team really, like to start the year / past April. Like Javi was.
I thought Torkelson was about to start taking the Joey Gallo route and switch to pitching at one point.
Dude, it
that was way too short in his career, but
yeah,
I need to look into
for a little
how
bit.
Joey Gallo's doing.
I'll be honest, I gave up a little bit on the guy.
He was 1-1, right? First overall. I believe he was. Not that really matters, but no. So we both said over on the 83.5. They're currently pacing out 101.
No, he was. So I had no idea. 2020.
They're 17.5 over their Vegas prediction. So we both had true. Good for us.
What is that? 101? Is that what you just said?
Correct.
Is that math? That's good. That's a hell of a year, actually.
Yes, very much so. And that's not even rounded. That's a perfect 101. Don't do it. Shut up.
Shut up.
That's pretty much all I got. Scooble's doing Scooble things. He's very exciting. Yeah. I need to start watching them a little bit more just to try to convince myself that they're actually good and that they're not going to have a second half fall off. I'm not praying for that by any means. They're a fun team. I love the attitude that Scooble brings, and just I really like Riley Green. But I just need to make it some more appointment TV to start watching them a little bit more.
They're fun because they're good on both sides of the ball too.
Yeah. And I still don't understand. I need to do a deep dive on Javi as well. Figure out what the hell. How is he back? Yeah, but all right. So next team. Yeah. So next
Trey Sweeney's back, by the way.
Didn't he just get optioned like 3 days ago?
Sure did.
I thought you had. Pretty sure you had to stay in the minors for like 10 days before you can get called back up.
Yeah. Well, it looks like he's back.
Well, we did that with Marte at one point. I think it's injury related as well. Trey Sweeney, Cindy Sweeney's cousin.
Yeah, Kerry Carpenter went on the aisle with a hammy.
That stinks. All right. Moving on to the next team, your Cleveland Guardians. Predicted at a very pedestrian 82.5. I said over, you said under. They're pretty much right at 500 right now.
Are you sure about that? I have the opposite on mine.
I may have read it wrong. I typed this very quickly.
Okay.
Well, if that's the case, then I get a win. Where we at? Correct. I typed it down backwards.
Okay. So were they on pace for?
They are on pace for 79.
All right.
So good for me.
Good for you. Yeah.
I am currently correct.
Damn, I should have said a word.
Ooh. But I mean, honestly, I didn't really like this team in the preseason outside of Jose Ramirez. I think a big mistake was getting rid of Naylor as far as the
Yeah,
heartbeat of that team.
I'm with you there.
I don't even know if he's doing anything for the Diamondbacks, but like that was like your heartbeat, man. Like J Ram's obviously the best, but he didn't get all outlandish and crazy like Josh Naylor does. That guy's a psychopath. You just get rid of that, and I feel like you take some life out of your team.
I'm with you. The thing is, I was higher on the Guardians than you because it's the Guardians, and they just always figure it out how to be good with not a lot.
And they're always a
Um,
pitching factory too, and I feel like that's been their downfall.
exactly. I mean, it's that. It's just like they're. I feel like they're finally just achieving to the level that they are. Like even early on in the year, they were doing really, really
They
well.
are who we thought they were.
Like
Yeah,
they're well above 500. Like in May, mid May, and they had like a negative like 20 something differential. So like I know we just
yeah.
talked about it. Like differential's not everything. Early in the season, a couple games can throw it either way, but like it seems like it's kind of caught up with them a little bit. I'll say that
Mm-hmm.
they don't
Very
have
much
that many
so.
exciting guys. Like part of the reason that they've always been good is they have like a Frankie Lindor or something where
Yeah,
or a Shane
Jimenez and
Bieber who just comes up and like dominates as like a young guy who's like a net add to the team because usually rookies are kind of worthless in a way. And it seems like they've run out of luck in a way.
yeah, yeah. I might force myself to watch a couple games of that. Hopefully, they play the Tigers soon, so I can watch both at the same time. Um,
Yeah. The one thing I will say, Lane Thomas has been hurt all year. I think Lane Thomas is really good. He's just now getting hot, and that lengthens the lineup quite a bit. So I think that like
did he?
they're pretty much getting a new player, in my opinion, like without making any
Yeah,
moves. So
wasn't he on the Barrel Watch for a while?
just briefly, yeah, he didn't have any barrels, but he was like hardly qualified because he started the year like on the IL, and then he came off and he qualified, and then he went back on the IL
Yeah,
like,
like he
immediately.
definitely would not be qualified. But all right, I'm gonna
Let's
move us on here.
while you do that, I'm going to look
What?
up Lane Thomas's barrels.
Okay. This next team, I did not have, or this doesn't surprise me at all because I still don't think they're a very good team. The Kansas City Royals at 82 and a half. Now I'm like second guessing myself. I said, I believe under. You said, I believe over.
Yeah,
Um, this doesn't surprise me one bit
yeah,
outside
good
of
for
probably
you.
Witt. I don't like the rest of their team. Um, they do have some good pitching, but that can't really win you games. You still have to score runs. Um, Watch, I'm going to look this up, and they have like one of the top run score. Oh no, I already said this earlier. They're third
No,
in run
they're
score, maybe
super
second.
low.
Third, yeah. No, I was looking at the Rangers. Yeah, they're second. Oh, they are last in the AL in run scored, and dude, that's disgusting. They've only scored 279
They stink. They need a new park.
with the Yankees scoring the most at 431. They've scored 160 more runs, 150. That's stupid.
Lane Thomas has three
That's two
barrels,
runs.
by the way,
That's
for those
two
keeping
runs
track.
more a game.
Yeah.
Jake.
Yeah. I know we talked like obviously in
All the role players aren't doing what they did last year to get them
exactly.
into the playoffs.
They're too
Like
top heavy.
I don't. Jack started off hot with 2 home runs. I believe he's just been dog shit
Dude, he's
since.
been terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. I did find that very interesting though that his name's not actually Jack. It's James. That Jack is his acronym of his name.
Oh,
His name is
didn't know
James
that.
Andrew Caglione, so JAC is his initials. So that became his nickname.
Got it.
And now you know. But yeah, they're 8 games below their preseason allotment, which just like the Twins, they're very top heavy in their lineup. Like the fact that Jonathan India, I don't even know if he's still hitting it lead off, but the fact that he was your leadoff at one point, like he hit leadoff for the Reds, but we also weren't that good last year. But India is just not that leadoff guy. Like he has good first at bats of every game, but blah blah blah. The rest of their offense just stinks. Sal's getting old. Bobby Witt's basically their entire offense. I've always liked Garcia. I have no clue how he's doing this year, but their whole team just puh.
Yeah, they need a new park. That's where I'll leave it at. That
It's also
place
in
is
the middle of nowhere.
it's just way too big. Like it doesn't allow them to play to
Cool
like
stadium though.
Oh, I hate it. It's one of my least favorites.
I
Everyone
love
says it's cool.
the big. I
The
love
big
the big
jumbotron.
royal scoreboard in the middle.
I
Yeah, it
hate
looks
I
cool.
hate everything about Kauffman. The thing is, like most, like if you think of like Astros have like a very unique stadium, right? But they have an opportunity to stack their lineup with like Isaac Paredes type players, where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, we don't have to spend at every single position to be good. We can take a guy who's not valuable to anybody else, but we can make him something. And I don't
Subtle
mean that.
dig at Isaac
No, no,
Paredes.
no. I was about to say I don't mean that as a dig at Isaac Paredes. Like he's having actually very good year,
Yeah.
and he had a good year last year. Just whatever. But he is significantly better player for the Astros than he would be on any other team, right?
Yes.
And being able like
I'd be curious
having
how he'd
parks
hit
that
at
are like
Fenway.
that helps you. Or even like when you think of Seattle, like Cal Raleigh somehow is hitting a million home runs
Oh,
in the like most pitcher friendly environment. Like they can stack their team very like they can spend on offense, which they don't, and get away with not spending on pitchers, and like they'll still have a good pitching staff and they could have a good offense kind of thing. Like with
yeah.
there's certain dynamics you can create, and the Royals are just not built for their environment. I'll say that.
No.
Like I guess they have
I'm curious too
speed
if
and a lot of space, which like yeah, cool, but you still need to have power and whatnot.
maybe they'll sign
Um,
Candy.
Also, oh yeah, I'm sure he'll help a lot. Cole Reagans has been injured a long time. He was actually my
Oh,
Cy
your
Young pick,
boy.
so I know like it.
Your boy.
Yeah, that doesn't make me happy, and it makes me think that there's still some upside for the team based on where they're at so far this year. But I mean, being a 500 team, I think was, um, you know, likely scenario, and then you lose your best pitcher, and you're in trouble.
Yeah. um. Yeah. I don't like their team. I'm ready to move on.
I like their stadium, and I know I went on a tangent on that just to get that in, but I hate it that much. It's my least favorite stadium outside of the Trop.
I've never been there, but where Kauffman and Arrowhead are, or Geekhoff Field or whatever it's called,
Yeah,
it's just literally in the middle of nowhere, and they're just surrounded by parking
by
lots.
parking lot, it's my worst
From
nightmare.
the outside, the most ugly looking scenario I've ever seen.
Yes.
All right, final team in this division, we got your Chicago White Sox.
Take that back.
You know, I say that with anything. They were slated at 54.5. I said over, you said under. They are pretty much right at that at 54. So technically, you're winning that one right now. But they are actually the closest to their Vegas odds out of the entire American League. There's another team in the West that's just edges them out for the best, which also doesn't really surprise me. But no, I don't know if they're going to hold on to finish 54, but there's just no way that they were going to repeat that horrible record from last year. Like I mean, they still could do it. It's just like that. It's just, you have to be good at being bad to only win 40 something games.
Yeah. I mean, like Lou Bob's their best player, and he stinks this year. I think he's just like unmotivated. He's on the 10-day.
I think just yesterday.
I think you got this one. I know I'm winning right now, but I think you got this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I mean, even if they
baseball,
trade up, like it can't get
historically.
Worse, right?
Yeah, historically, the worst teams would. Well, outside of some of the really bad seasons of teams, like I'm pretty sure the Mariners have had a really, really bad season, and the Tigers. and the White Sox.
Tigers had
But
a terrible, and they lost like
I feel like
107
historically it's always been the worst teams are at like 110 losses, or maybe even just barely cracking 100. But it's like you can't do 40 again. Or I don't remember exactly what their
right.
win tally was, but yeah, I don't know. That'll be a fun one to jokingly track. But out as far as that division goes, we did pretty well. We both went 3-2.
Yeah,
Only
don't hit
one was commonly shared. Again, me and you have only hit the same one once, and that's been the Tigers. But we also had a lot of disparity between our picks. So
and
great
bad
segue
500
into
so
the
far,
AL.
so I can't be too upset.
Yeah, but fantastic segue into our AL West, which I believe is the very first division we did. We agreed on all 5 teams, and we were right so far on 4 of the teams.
Hell yeah!
So
Look at that.
starting
money
off,
on
Astros and Rangers were both slated to have 86.5. We'll start with the Astros. We both said over. They are just under 10 games over their pace, which I think is kind of crazy. Did I do this wrong again?
Yeah, I have unders, but we might not be 4 for 5.
Damn it, Jake.
I have unders on Houston.
Oh, I'm sorry. I flipped that.
Overs on Rangers.
I have it correctly on the picture. Sorry. We both,
Okay.
my bad.
We don't
We
prep for
both,
these shows.
no. Okay. We typed this out 3 seconds in advance. All right. So never mind. We didn't do as good as we thought.
Damn.
But yeah, so we both had unders. We look stupid.
Yeah.
I still, I don't know what to think about their team.
They've turned it on lately.
Obviously, they have a great record. Yeah, but like, I mean, Pena's having an unreal season. He also just got hurt, I saw.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. How's your boy Cam Smith doing?
Pretty good. I mean, I wish he was on the Cubs, and you know where I stand on that situation. He's hitting like 270 something.
That ain't bad for a Rook.
No,
not at all.
I mean, I'm not going to get an old situation for the 100th time, but I wish.
Sounds like you might.
No. I'm not going full there. I'm just dipping a toe in. I've always been higher on Cam Smith than Matt Shaw, and so far I'm right. Obviously, they both have long careers in front of them, most likely. So definitely not taking a victory lap, but as of now, I've always been Team Cam Smith, and I look pretty smart.
Yeah. I definitely didn't think the Astros were going to be as good with losing. I almost said Belly, with losing Tucker.
Yeah.
But to your point from earlier, Isaac Paredes is having a hell of a year. Altuve's still doing Altuve things. Pena's playing out of his mind. Their pitching staff, I feel like, has always just been good. But they are making us look pretty stupid. However, I know I selected that with I believe the caveat of another, like, they would not hit it by like 1 or 2 games. But that's mostly because of this next team slated at the exact same run or win total. The Rangers at 86.5. We both said overs. They are pretty much the exact opposite direction of the Astros. They're 8.5 games worse than their early season prediction. So clearly an under. They've just been insanely underwhelming. They have a good run differential. Yeah, they have. I mean, not good, but it's green. They're plus 12. They have given up the least amount of runs in the entire AL, but they just can't seem to score runs, which is hilarious because I feel like that's been their MO the last couple of years. Just with all those rookies coming up, swinging the hell out of the bat, and then with Simeon and Seager up the middle. I think it's because they got rid of Lowe. I'm just kidding. But no, Tyler Mally's been fantastic for them. However, he just got shelved. DeGrom, by the way, fully back.
Fully back. Stay healthy, Ken.
That guy's a stud.
Yeah.
Yes. Please just have a full season.
I feel like we were robbed of
it's
a
like
career.
Oh, yeah. And I'm pretty sure he was drafted in like the 16th round or something like that, which I always think that's so funny. Like some of those guys that make it big and are good, but were
Was he
taken
even
in very
drafted
low
as a
rounds.
pitcher? I know
do
we're
not know
talking
the
out of our
answer to
ass
that.
right now, but because he was a good hitter too for a pitcher. I'm not sure he was drafted as a pitcher. Oh, he was drafted in the 9th round. By the way.
9th. I knew it wasn't top 5.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really have much else to say about them. Adolis Garcia has been dog shit as well.
Dude, great pimp job though. Last night, great pimp job.
I haven't seen it.
3-run home run in the 9th to tie it. Oh, he looked like vintage Aroldis Garcia.
Is it
like World Series?
Is it like Jose Batista?
Yes, just complete utter domination at the moment. Yeah, it was awesome.
That guy's built for moments like that.
He really is. I mean, there's value to coming up when it matters. I think he's proven that he's one of those guys who does that. So,
yeah. All right.
So real quick, before we get too far away, I was trying to pull this up when we were talking Astros, and you moved on, which is perfectly fine because I didn't have it up. But the Astros, why they're good is they've effectively replaced the power numbers of Kyle Tucker with just Isaac Paredes. Like, obviously, there's stolen base upside that Tucker offers that Paredes doesn't. Average walks. Like, I'm not saying they're the same player whatsoever, but Paredes has 17 home runs and 46 RBIs, which is tied with Tucker for home runs, and Tucker has 52 RBIs. So they've effectively replaced that, and then they've also added all of Cam Smith's production as well. So when you think of like removing a huge piece, they have certainly like patchwork thus far his production spread across 2 positions. So pretty good by their front office to minimize the loss of.
I'd be curious to see though.
Baseball.
Yeah, if you threw Bregman into that consideration as well, I'd be curious to see how that adds up.
How it all shakes out
right now, but
I'm not. I think I mean I'll look it up right now.
But no means have to do that right now. That's something we should do soon. A nice segment idea for the socials is like a preseason trades where they currently stand.
Yeah, love it. I was actually thinking about that today.
Or
I was
really
thinking about putting like what you gave up
versus
what you replaced with it.
Yeah,
like combining
like
all
the
the
Astros
numbers.
would be a great team to do this with.
Just do it as a poll.
Yeah.
Say like choose left side or right side. Red pill, blue pill type of thing. And then like the next day come out with like, all right, here's the situation, so you can really see.
Yeah.
I mean, Bregman's only
it'd be cool to just be like, oh, preseason, like Astros, like they let Bregman walk and traded Tucker and traded Presley, and it's like,
how much of
where
it
do they stand now? Oh,
plug?
they're 16 games above 500 and have effectively replaced that production with very situational guys that play fantastic at Daikin Park. I hate saying that.
Oh, it's such a bad. Oh, I mean, I don't have any opinion on Daikin and company, but it just doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, just doesn't have the same as Minute Maid.
It's not Minute Maid. The thing is, Minute Maid was a quirky name that fit. Like, hey, we have a flagpole and a hill in center field. That was awesome. We got the short portion left. We got a train. Why? I don't know, but the train's 18 stories off the ground practically. You can hit a home run off of it. It's such a quirky park, and then like Daikin Field, it just doesn't fit it.
I was trying to think of the name of the hill and center, but I forget. It's named after a guy.
The grassy knoll.
Sure. All right. let's move on then because we're starting to get around an hour here. So the Mariners, 85.5. We both said under, which this is the other team that's basically right on their projection. They're on pace for 84.9, so it is an under.
Hell yeah, look at us.
By points, but by 0.6 games. Cal Raleigh is something special. I'd be very curious to see if he was having a average year to his average, what they would look like right now as far as record. But my question to you is, do you think there's a chance he could dethrone Judge as MVP?
Yes.
And do you think just the fact that he's also a catcher plays into that? Because their average is like way different. But as far as home runs and RBIs and that kind of production, they're pretty much right on line with each other. But I know their averages are like severely off. But there's always the notion of, he's a catcher. He doesn't need to hit that way.
Yeah.
And I think he's like metrics out well for catchers as well.
I think
he's actually a good catcher.
From winning the award standpoint and how people are going to vote, absolutely not. Judge, like New York, he's done nothing wrong, and I think a lot of postseason awards are given to the front runner unless proven otherwise. You see that all the time with like Gold Gloves, for instance, right?
Political. Gold Gloves.
Yeah, to some degree. That being said, if I was voting, Cal Raleigh would, like, if the race ended today, I probably would vote Cal Raleigh because I think catcher is a premium position compared to right field.
Especially with the rotation is. I don't know.
How much of that is him, which is fair, but he's also hitting, like, he's on a near Barry Bonds pace of home runs in the worst ballpark,
which is crazy
to hit, which is insane to me. And that truly is like what pushes it over the top is this production, but it's also in like what you leave, Safeco. If I can think of the name, but like, it's not like any of these other stadiums are like super advantageous either that he's playing in most often.
T-Mobile Park.
Yeah. Whereas like Judge gets to go to Green Monster, which is obviously zero obstacle for him.
In his own park.
Well, I know. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
The East has
I'm curious
way more
how much
friendly hitting conditions than the West does. I'll just leave it kind of as a blanket statement there. And for Cal Raleigh to put up the power numbers that he's done and kind of keep the Mariners afloat almost single-handedly here is pretty impressive.
Offensively, yes. I am curious, though, how much being a catcher would sway some votes towards him. Whether it's because the rotation's really good or just that it's just a much more difficult position to play than right field as far as your dedication to hitting at that point. Because, like, you're catching the pitchers all the time. Like, you have to also focus on that. Yeah. So you don't, like, Judge is probably just always in a cage. I doubt he's really shagging fly balls all the time, trying to become elite in right field. Like, he's not a horrible outfielder. Obviously, he had the huge error in the World Series, but like, he probably spends 5% of his time trying to get better at fielding. While Cal Raleigh has to, even if he's not even trying to get better at catching, he has to sit there and catch for the pitchers. I'm sure they've got the bullpen staff doing that, but, like, I don't know. I feel like they still want him to be part of that, so that it's
perspective. Like,
yeah,
Judge has somebody like waving him or like an index card saying do this, and Raleigh's like figuring out a game situation, how to manage the pitching staff. Like, that's a totally different animal.
Yeah.
So
correct.
Yeah, I mean, also my bias is always going to go to like the team that doesn't get publicity in some case, just because, like, I mean, this is another tangent, which I'll try to keep super, super short, but I was looking at All-Star voting and seeing if Market Size had anything to do with like the All-Star like fan vote. And it does, but
Look
also,
at the NL, and it does.
well, I was going to say like it's clearly correlated, but also win percentage overall is correlated towards market size. Like it's advantageous just over a long span
Yeah.
to be in a big market. Um, doesn't necessarily mean the world for like an individual season, but over time, like you can do rebuilds a lot faster as a big organization. Um, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
bad for baseball because teams with big markets, like that are already going to get publicized no matter what, like everybody ends up going there, and then they have the best players, hence the All Star games. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's wrong with baseball too. Um,
I
I
think there
want to
needs
use
to
the
be a
words.
performance factor, by the way.
I agree. Yeah, I mean that. I would actually, if you didn't have
I
anything to
even
talk
if
about today, I was going to talk about All Star stuff. But yeah, I
yeah,
I think it's better for baseball for small market teams to be relevant and covered across like media, so that the whole league as a cohesive unit is entertaining instead of just pockets of, hey, this is a big market and a good team, which is what you see now. Like the whole world just wants to talk about Judge and Otani, right? Like it's your two
it's
biggest markets,
Shohei, yeah.
it's two good teams. Like I get that, but like there's a lot of other good players out there, like the Cal Raleighs of the world, who it feels like you have to be a
Big
baseball
Dumpa.
nerd to really have any sort of idea of how impressive his year is. Yet you could be,
Yeah.
watching, taking in two baseball games a year and understand who Aaron Judge is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm going to give a 30-second add-on to the voting thing, which we can
Okay.
definitely get into more in the NL. But it's like, I think even if you just want to go straight off of WAR and
Mm-hmm.
then like take how many votes you get, let's say you have 1.2 million votes. You take your WAR, add in 1.2, and that's your total score. And then, because then like,
Yeah.
also
Performance based,
I'm pretty sure
like
Andy Pajes
80% of
still
it or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah. I agree. Couldn't agree
like
more.
Andy Pajes still has like a crazy high WAR, but like James Wood is higher. Like I think the
Yeah.
votes
It's
would then
ridiculous.
push Andy Pajes over James Wood, but like I think it should be some sort of component like that. All right, anyway, that's enough of the NL.
Interesting.
All right, so we have two teams left. I kind of want to go through them quickly because, well, one team, they're both kind of being weird, to be honest. The Angels were slated at 72.5. We both said over, and they are currently slated for 80. Like they're actually kind of a fun team. And I'm fairly certain I said that at the beginning of the year that I'm like, this team could actually be good. And it's weird that I'm saying this, and I don't actually believe myself, but I was like, it's Trout stays healthy. This team has a lot of pieces that are good, and they could be good, especially in this division that I don't really think is that good to begin with, but they always record well. Um, I don't have a whole lot more to add about the Angels. They're like we've talked about before. They're a tough team for us to watch, being on Eastern Time Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but obviously, Trout's great. Love Neto, love Ward. Sometimes I love Soler. Um,
He's fun to watch, at least.
who else am I
His
forgetting?
tags.
Yes. Who else am I forgetting?
Oh, Hoppy.
I really love Taylor Ward, by the way. Yeah, Ohapi's great.
Taylor Ward is
Shot him.
trade
Yeah.
candidate, which might end up playing into the over under by the time we get there. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
shakes out. Like honestly, like for them to hit the over, they might have to buy because their pitching is a little
I think they're only
flimsy.
3 games out of the wild card behind the Mariners.
I know. I just don't. When's the last time the Angels were really that aggressive?
If I'm
Besides when they signed Shohei and then proceeded to do nothing.
I feel like they were kind of aggressive this offseason. Not really, but
With what?
when they signed Soler, I thought it was the wildest thing in the world. Like his contract's not crazy, but when I said
I think they just
aggressive,
want to put
it
butts in
was like,
seats.
but it was like weird buying. It was like,
Yeah, it
why are
was.
you buying Soler? Why are you buying? Who was the fucking pitcher that came over there? I forget, but
Kyle Hendricks?
another, huh?
Kyle Hendricks?
Not
Kenny
Kyle
Jansen?
Hendricks. I forget who it was. No, it was somebody else. I forget. Um, but I don't really have much else to add. it is kind of crazy to me that they're 7.5 games above their pace or what they should have been at. But I'm glad that we both got that right. I don't know where your number really was in your head. I feel like I was probably more at like a 74, not quite an 80. But no, I mean, this team has a lot of talent. Like they could be good if Trout stays healthy, especially.
I'm with you. They're overachieving even what I thought, but yeah, I mean, it's all based on Mike Trout's health, and they actually have some very, very good players, which is what makes me nervous about the trade deadline. Like if they decide to sell, they could. I mean, like what's keeping Soler there? Absolutely nothing.
I mean, they're only a couple games out of the wild card, though. I'm not saying that they're.
I know, but like if you buy now, like then you're actually like this team can't win a World Series.
Like, you can't like sell.
Yeah, you can. This is a conversation for another day. But like, do you not? You're a Reds fan, right? Do you not remember Nick Castellanos year when you had him? And
yeah,
you all were sellers, and then you swept the Brewers going into the trade deadline, and all of a sudden you were buyers. You got like Sam Mole while everybody else made moves, and you still had to catch up ground. You end up not making the playoffs, and you let Nick Castellanos, one of the best players in the league during that year, like MVP caliber season, walk for free. Like that's the kind of territory that the Angels are in. Call timeout.
We gave him a qualifying offer. I forget who we drafted in his place, but it may have been Matt McLain.
That's fine. And you guys have Matt McLain now, and you're okay.
Yeah, for a league minimum for the next 2 years. We don't need to get into that. You're correct. That's a story for a different day. Because I'm about to start getting angry.
The story for today, though, is like you can't just because you're close to making the playoffs, if you have zero chance of winning a World Series, to me, that's not buying. To me, you only buy they are so far away from some of these other teams that I
don't disagree.
Could they win a series against a really good team? Absolutely. Are they going to win multiple series against really good teams? If they make up ground anyways, no. And is it worth mortgaging the future for a next to 0% chance for 1 year? I would say no. Therefore, I don't care how close they are by the time the deadline comes. If they're not sellers, I would be pissed if I was an Angels fan.
Yeah. And obviously, if the contract situation works out, if they have the right package in return, I just don't think they should sell. Don't give away everything unless you're getting good return. But
screw it, I give away everything.
There's also still a month left. They could just fall off the face of the earth, and the next team did at one point. I don't know. I mean, this is probably a scenario where they're just going to keep playing some baseball and then figure out where they are in 2 weeks. All right, let's move on to the Oakland/Sacramento/Las Vegas groundbreaking Athletics. They were slated at 71.5, which is good for second worst in the league to start the year. We both said over because we both kind of believed in their team. Because their lineup's fun as hell. However, they are currently pacing for 65.2, so that is an under. So it's 6 games under, which is kind of surprising, even with that massive losing streak they had and the big. Do you remember how long that streak was? I feel like they lost 12 games in a row or something like that, or
they were lost 3 and 21 or something like that.
Yeah,
it was ugly.
Which is crazy because they're only 17 games below 500. Obviously that's bad, but losing 20 of 21 and you're less than that under 500 is honestly kind of impressive. So we are both wrong on that one.
So far.
I mean, they could make up 6.5. But no, one of the most fun teams to watch because it's got a bunch of guys that can just hit dongs. They got Jacob Wilson, who's Luis Ariz Jr.
Yep.
Do they still have Estuary Ruiz?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where he is and why they don't use him, but
I feel like they cut him.
did they really? Dude,
I have no clue how to spell his first name.
did they?
There he is. Yeah, he's on the Dodgers.
Well, he was hitting like 400 last year, and they're like, he's playing too good. We don't want to lose a
We want to
year of,
manipulate your contract. See ya.
yeah, send you down, like, all for nothing, I guess. Um,
I mean,
do
he
you mind
did
if I go first
finish.
on the A's here?
Have at it, brother.
I don't think their lineup's the issue. Obviously,
Their
like they can't
pitching's
get outs.
dog.
Yeah, they can't get outs. But I mean, I still think the world of
They're
their
like a
lineup. To be
better version of
honest,
the Rockies.
yeah, but way more fun. Shea Bangaliers is back, by the way. He's been on the IL.
Bangaliers.
Denzel Clark. I'm not sure how many of these highlights you've seen, but that dude
Oh,
can
every single
flat
one of them.
out get it.
Oh, why am I doing this?
An
Yeah.
outfield pause. Um, yeah, I mean they're a fun team. They have a couple like Max Muncy, the not real Max Muncy, and
He's still real.
Izzy.
His name's Max
Yeah, I mean
Muncy.
they have awesome wins, by the way.
Oh, he's hitting like 150 for him, by the way.
Yeah, because
I
that's
think
about how
he
good at
homered in
baseball
his.
he is, for sure.
Thank you.
Um,
I think he homered like in his first at bat with him, and then has done nothing since.
Nice. Love how he got on the books with a homer first. No, like Soderstrom, like I know you made a video about him. He was on an absolute tear to start the year.
I think he's hit 1 home run since. Maybe
Yeah,
2.
it's kind of impressively. You jinxed him. That's on you.
The DOTPC. HJ. Yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
No, I mean that's about it. They're nothing but fun, but I mean I don't expect them to do anything per se. Like don't really got much to give up because all their anybody who's worth anything is young.
Signed or way too young to deal.
Yeah, so it's a team that still feels like they're 2 years away, maybe, but that's a good thing for them. Like they don't need to be good in Sacramento, but yeah, we're going to be off on our projection here, I think, unless they go on another torrid stretch like they did at the beginning of the year, aka going like 500.
Yeah, I believe we both were making kind of stupid predictions that maybe they could sneak into the wild card since the East would just be eating themselves up.
Yeah, I probably said that. I wish I didn't. I can see how we got there.
Yeah, I mean they're a fun team, man, and like we didn't really know a whole lot about Jacob Wilson at the time. We knew he was like the contact goat, but I mean I can guarantee you, me and you had never watched him.
Not too much minors,
But good.
I don't do any minors.
Anyway, speaking of minors, Novi Marte hit a grand slam earlier. No big deal. Can't wait for him to come back. Anyway, but no, I mean their team's exciting as hell. I'm excited for the future of them. So like I kind of compared them to the Rockies just because their offense is kind of good, but their pitching ass. But they're like the Nationals of the American League. They're like you're not good enough that you're going to have probably a winning record this year. Like probably going to be 10 games below 500, but you're exciting as hell to watch, and I'm very excited for the next couple of years. I don't know what they've got waiting in the wings to come up, especially in the pitching department, but I don't know. I think they're the American League Nationals. Kind of sounds funny, but
A lot of their guys are already in the MLB that are coming up.
yeah.
They have let's see, Nick. Will not say the last name.
Nick
Jacob
Kurtz
Wilson,
has been crushing the ball.
Gunnar Hogland, who's up now. They have Denzel Clark, who's up now. JT Ginn, who's up now. Max Muncy, who's up now. So it doesn't seem like they have a lot. So hear me out. Okay.
I mean, they could all get better too. They're all insanely young.
Want to know what I do?
What would you do, Jake?
I would trade Brent Rooker.
I feel like they should have done that preseason.
Well, I don't know
instead of signed him.
Well, exactly. So his value, and if I remember right, Jake, we have the
I think
technology.
it's a pretty friendly contract.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Brent Rooker, spot track. I gotta type this out or talk about what I'm typing in my computer right now to fill up the dead space. 5 years, $60 million. Okay.
Yeah, which isn't crazy.
I'd say that's pretty good.
12 a year.
He's almost 31.
I'd rather have that than Candy's contract. I think we were paying Candy 16.
I was gonna say, I put my GM hat on a lot, and as we just talked about, I'm either very go for it and have a good chance to go for it, or that if you're not in that boat, you haven't built enough, right? Like, I don't like playing the Atlanta Hawks. If you watch any NBA of the mid 2000s, where they were the 8th seed in the playoffs, which is the worst seed you can get. They played one seed, one and done every single year. Sure, you put a couple butts in the seats, but nobody was a true believer. I hate that position. It's the Jeff Fisher, if you watch NFL, right? I hate that situation.
Hockey.
I don't know enough about hockey.
Comparison?
No, I don't know. I don't know shit about hockey. I don't even know the rules of hockey, to be honest with you. The Blackhawks. But
go Blackhawks.
What does Brent Rooker really do for you as an A's organization?
Yeah.
Unless
he's the leader of all the young guys, blah, 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 that stuff. But
yeah, you can miss me with all that. I do believe in that to some degree, but not for what he's making. And he's way better than it. He's actually useful for another team. It would be one thing if, I'm a Cubs fan, I'm going to use Justin Turner, right? Justin Turner's role, Justin Turner's not very good at baseball anymore. He just
Correct.
is not
I'm
good
glad
enough.
You said anymore.
Yeah, no, terrific player. Same with Jason Hayward, former Cubs guy. But those guys, their production on the field isn't worthy of an MLB spot anymore. Their value to a team in the right scenario where they don't rely on them is immense, though. Whereas, Brent Rooker, actually has on the field value, a ton of it right now, a friendly contract. Am I nuts? And you're in Sacramento, right? You're probably not even trying to compete until your first year in Vegas, and you're stuck in Sacramento for multiple years. What's Brent Rooker really serving for you? He's going to have more value right now.
Contract's up by the time. Or no, we said it's 5 years. Never mind. I was thinking it was.
No, he'll be there in Vegas if they keep him. But I just think teams hang on to these guys too long. He's not really doing anything for you right now because you aren't a winning team. He's a winning player. What's the goo face for?
Their stadium's not opening until 2028.
Yeah, they got 3 years.
So they still have this season and 2 more.
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, Rooker's going on 34.
He's already in his 30s?
He's almost 31.
Damn. I didn't know
You see my point, though.
Yes. I don't disagree. Maybe fucking A. I can't stop yawning.
And they don't have that. They'll trade Severino at the deadline. I fully expect that. But besides that, I don't think anybody's knocking on the door for Jeffrey Springs too much. Maybe you look at moving Mason Miller, which is also you could get a haul. Yeah, but once again,
I don't think they'll touch him. I want to know if they're gonna.
I think they should.
The tires on. I want to know if they're going to keep the tires on him starting again.
No, they better not. Just when you think of guys throwing 102 out of 10, what are the odds? I mean, Aroldis Chapman has done it, but for the most part, those guys are here for a good time, not here for a long time. I know I said that backwards.
Chapman's been in the league for a long time.
No, I said like Chapman's done it, but besides that,
Oh, gotcha. I misheard what you said.
yeah. Well, I said
Starting to get
everything
really
backwards
tired.
there, kind of. So that's on me. But
Fair enough.
he's here for a good time. He's not here for a long time.
Yes.
Right? Like you just saw Ben Joyce.
You
Like,
said it correctly. You just said it reversed.
yeah, correct.
Like
Yeah.
out of order. Yeah.
But like, I
I'm
know he
here
was a
for a
hot
good
topic
time.
last year. Like, you could get an absolute haul for these guys, and they could use like a little bit of boost of
I know one team that could use them.
triple A type, like almost ready, like already proven prospects in a way of where like you think you're going to hit on them, so that everything comes together at the same time.
Yeah.
Right when you hit Vegas, too. By the way, I would do
Mhm.
it.
It's not a horrible idea.
That's my
We'll have to
GM
take a look
hack for
into
the
that as
day.
well.
That like if well, I know I talked about the Angels with my GM hat a little bit, but no, if there's one team that I like had to plant my flag of, I want to watch them on the trade deadline, and I need them to do what I think they should do. It's the A's, because otherwise they're going to just be stuck in the middle ground, and you're going to have to hope that
Yeah.
Vegas is enough of a draw for people. But given their
Yeah.
ownership and stuff, I don't really see it. Like
The only
they're
other
not opening a check.
contender, the only other contender I would have on that is potentially the Orioles pitching staff, and I could also see
Yeah.
the Blue Jays adding since they're got a pretty nice record.
Orioles got to go now. They have to.
Yeah, but like that's kind of risky just going after it. They're what did I say that the A's were or the Angels were what? What did I say? 3
I'm not
games
saying necessarily
behind?
now for like this year. Like you could.
Yeah.
I think the Orioles are in a position where like we had a shitty year, but last year we won 100 plus games. We had the same roster. These guys are still in their prime. Like, let's just figure out how to get one or two pitching pieces, have guys come back from Tommy John, UCL surgery, like all these different things. And like next year, they can be really good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whatever they trade for, they should probably try to get some longevity out of it. Obviously, they're not just going to flip for rentals, but
right. And I also don't think they need help with bats. They need pitching.
They need to bolster that rotation bad.
Yeah, I think they were just too thin.
Which I won't even say bolster because it's nothing to begin with.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, they were just too thin. I've said it 100 times at least to you off air, but like the roster is 26 guys. You need like a solid 35 guys to win a World Series.
That's not 100% how math works, but I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I just think the Orioles went in with a good 26.
Dude, their rotation, I tried to say this to you at the beginning of the year. Their rotation, bad.
No, I
like
get that.
They were hinging off
26.
Grayson Rodriguez taking another step up, and
right,
he didn't do that and then got hurt.
To start.
Yes, but
I'm just saying they had 26
that's
guys.
what they were banking on. That's exactly. Hard to bank on one guy.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah. We're lockstep here. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong, since I had some errors on my sheet. Looking at the entire American League, I believe I went 6-9 and you went 7-8 so far.
Yep.
All right.
Not great, man.
So no, it's not the best, but you've got one up on me going into the National League, which we're going to try to record this weekend. Mm-hmm. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything exciting coming up in the world of baseball? We don't need to talk about Chase Burns getting lit up yesterday.
The tipping pitches. I wanted you to be first on the scene to determine what he was tipping or how he was tipping it.
Well, I don't have access to that kind of footage, at least not live.
Yeah, not live. I was going to say it's all on Survivor. You just have to go pitch by pitch and watch an ad every time.
Is there a category column that says
you can watch every pitch?
Was this pitch tipped? Yeah, after the fact.
Yeah, you just got to put them side by side. I would just, hey, just thought, Reds fans, you might have interest. No, Horizon. I mean, I'm excited to talk this weekend. Let's make sure we do that. I do want to start doing these things live. at some point.
I
know you're iffy
I
on
don't
it.
disagree. I just don't know how it's going to go.
I know.
But we can discuss that and dive into that more offline.
I just feel
Go
like we
ahead.
talk about every team every time, but like having a little fan engagement wouldn't hurt us.
Yeah, I don't
Keep us
disagree.
pointing because we're bad at agendas. That's the thing. That's why we don't do podcasts half the time.
Well, my
So
thing
I
is
don't
that
know.
every time I go to do the agenda, it's always the day we're recording because obviously I want to do it the day of because it's still relevant information. Just work shit hits the fan, and then I'm working until like 3 p.m. and then I don't really have much time to create an agenda.
Well, we got an agenda that we can go
no,
through. We're going to have National League. We could do All Star. We could do trade deadline. So we can nail out a couple.
And our award predictions too.
Correct. So we
check
got
in on those.
like those won't change. So we'll get some podcasts out to you guys.
We sure will, brother. I think I've said brother like that 5 times this episode. I don't have any other closing thoughts. Really, I am still shocked that the Tigers are as good as they are. I still don't 100% believe it. I'm going to start watching them more. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got. So if that's all you have as well,
yeah, see you next time.
We'll say sayonara, and we will be talking about the National League next time, doing the same exact format, and possibly some other things. So thanks for checking in.
Much love.
Peace.